Good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, March 25th, and your chart of the day is one of my favorites. Yeah, I love pricing currencies in gold. This currency chart that you're seeing right here is the Argentine peso, and how many pesos is required to purchase 1 ounce of gold. 1 ounce of gold represented as 1 XAU, the same as you would see it in the Coro app. And what you can see here is over the last 12 months, it's required an additional 57% more pesos to be able to buy 1 ounce of gold. Specifically, that's 159,000 pesos to purchase a single ounce of gold in Argentina. And Argentina has gone through multiple currency crises. They're having problems with negotiations with the IMF right now, which is what made me think of showing this chart today. They've defaulted on their bonds multiple times, and this is just par for the course for what you see in all of history. Ultimately, paper currencies decline. But I also wanted to share another chart today that I think was interesting. This chart here, this was actually a tip from one of our Coro investors. He lives down in Brazil and was pointing out that the price of rice in Brazil has actually skyrocketed. So this is actual spot rice prices in one of the ports down there in Brazil. And you can see in the last couple of years it's up nearly 100%. And in other ports it's up 100% just in the last 12 months. This is very real inflation. The cost for families that depend on rice as a staple of their diet every single day, which is millions and millions of families around the world, an increase of 100% is significant. Now, the last piece that I want to share with you guys today that I found interesting, this is a chart I've referred to many times since Cambridge started running this data set. We get tons of questions about Bitcoin every single day. And what I encourage everybody to do is do your own homework and do your own thinking. Don't allow narratives in mainstream media headlines to shape your views. You should always do your own due diligence. And this is how we felt about Bitcoin for the last 10 years. Not taking anything away from the contribution to blockchain that Bitcoin made, but keeping it in perspective for how it really works versus what everybody wants you to believe. So you've definitely heard that Bitcoin has a lot of energy consumption. That's a big headline, and it's not a small issue. Since the pandemic, governments everywhere have been looking for ways to deal with climate change. And of course, Bitcoin stands on the other side of that. Now, looking at this chart here, this is what's important to grasp. 65% of all Bitcoin mining is taking place in China. And when you look at the next countries here outside of the United States, it's Russia, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, and Iran. A couple weeks ago, you might have heard in the news that power grids were going out in Iran because Bitcoin mining operations were sucking up a lot of the energy there. You might have also seen this headline here, which was talking about Chinese Bitcoin mining hub shutting down cryptocurrency operations. Everybody talks about Bitcoin as if it's just this completely amazing independent currency that's not going to be influenced by governments, that can absolutely go around governments and central banks and everything else. But this is just completely a false narrative. Again, I want to come back to this chart here. If you guys believe that China, Russia, Iran, even the United States doesn't have the authority to shut down mining operations, well, then I can sell you the Eiffel Tower in Paris. This is not logical. You have to think very carefully about this. Bitcoin is not completely independent as people would have you believe. It is vulnerable to things like this where they could be shut down, and so it has embedded risks. Does that mean you shouldn't buy some? I'm going to leave that to you to make your own conclusions, but what it does mean is you do need to do your own homework. Hope you found this helpful today, and enjoy the rest of your day.